He did not ask us to run from life, but to see it as it truly is, to meet it fully, without resistance, and find freedom here, now, in the fire, in the rain, in the noise of the world and the silence of our own soul. The Buddha did not teach escape. He taught awakening. There is a stillness deep within you that cannot be touched by the world's chaos. Beneath every fear, every craving, every restless thought, there is a quiet awareness, timeless, vast, untouched by circumstance. You may not feel it now. You may believe that peace is something far away, something earned only after years of effort, or found only in monasteries, not in the heart of your daily life. But this is not true. And if you can pause, just for 10 days, and listen deeply, breathe gently, and live mindfully, you will see calm is not something you create. It is something you return to. It was always here. You are not broken. You are simply distracted. These 5 principles are not commandments. They are invitations. Each one leads you deeper into the truth of who you are. Not a self to defend, not a story to fix, but a luminous awareness. Calm, clear, compassionate. This is not motivation. This is remembrance. Not an idea to believe, but a path to walk, barefoot and real. Let us begin. Number 1. Be still as the mountain. Return to the breath. The breath is the bridge between body and mind, between noise and silence, between doing and being. When the Buddha sat beneath the Bodhi tree, he did not recite chants or long doctrines. He simply watched the breath. In, out, like waves upon the shore. And in that simple, intimate practice, the storm of the mind quieted, awareness expanded, enlightenment. The breath is always here. It does not belong to anyone. It does not ask you to change. It only asks you to notice. When life feels like too much, when fear claws at the heart, when anger boils, when sorrow weighs heavy, do not try to fix anything. Return to the breath. Inhale gently, exhale slowly, and again. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who sees them. You are not your fear. You are the space in which fear arises and passes. With each breath you reclaim your power, not through force, but through surrender. Try this. Sit in stillness for 10 minutes each morning. Close your eyes. Place one hand on your chest. Feel the breath enter. Feel it leave. Nothing else. You are not meditating to become better. You are meditating to remember. This moment is enough. At first, the mind will rebel. It will scream, distract, wander. That is its habit. Smile at it. Gently return to the breath. Again and again. This returning is the practice. You are like a mountain. The winds come, but you do not move. The rain falls, but you remain rooted. The sun blazes, but you endure in silence. This is the first step. To stop. To stop reacting. To come home to this breath, this body, this moment. Many of us live in our heads, trapped in stories that never end. But the breath lives in the body, and the body is always present. The breath cannot exist in the past. It cannot live in the future. It is the anchor of now. This is the miracle. You can be washing dishes and still be free. You can be walking in traffic and still be still inside. You can be heartbroken and still calm. Not because the pain goes away, but because your awareness grows stronger than your reaction. Breath by breath we begin to see life is not the enemy. It is the teacher. There is nothing to fear in the present moment. Fear only exists in the mind's projections. What might happen, what was said, what could go wrong. But in this breath, right now, you are safe. You are whole. In just 10 days of truly observing the breath, without trying to fix or analyze, you will begin to see yourself differently. Not as a fragmented self trying to hold everything together, but as the sky holding every cloud, every storm, every ray of light. This is not about becoming calm. It is about realizing you already are, underneath the noise. You don't need more effort. You need less resistance. Be still as the mountain. Return to the breath, and you will discover the place within you that nothing can shake. Number 2. See things as they are. The wisdom of bare attention. The mind is a storyteller. From the moment we wake until the moment we sleep, it weaves narratives about who we are, what we lack, who hurt us, what must happen for us to finally be happy. And we believe it blindly. We chase its promises, we fight its fears, we drown in its memories, but there is a deeper seeing. The Buddha called it sati, mindfulness, presence, bare attention, not judgment, not interpretation, just seeing clearly, without the veil of mental noise. To see things as they are is to take off the tinted glasses of desire and aversion, of projection and fear, and to meet each moment directly. When you bring your full awareness to a single breath, you see the breath as it is, not as good or bad, not as useful or wasted, but simply breath, alive, moving, impermanent, real. When you sip tea with bare attention, the tea becomes the whole universe. You taste the rain that fell, the sun that warmed the leaves, the hands that picked them, the fire that boiled the water. One cup, infinite into being. Now imagine bringing this quality of attention to your suffering. Instead of saying, "I am sad," you observe, "There is sadness." Instead of spiraling into, "I'm not enough," you see, a thought is arising. This is not detachment. This is clarity. You are not rejecting anything. You are seeing it without adding layers of confusion. Imagine walking through a forest. If you're distracted, all you see is a blur. But when you slow down, when you pay attention, you begin to notice the way the light filters through the leaves, the rhythm of the bird calls, the softness of the earth beneath your feet. Nothing changed, only your attention. The same is true for your life. You don't need to change everything. You just need to see more clearly. Practice this. For one day, walk through your life with the eyes of a beginner. When you eat, just eat. When you speak, just speak. When you listen, listen with your whole body. No multitasking, no rushing, just presence. It will feel strange at first, perhaps even uncomfortable, but this discomfort is not a problem. It is the shedding of unconsciousness. You are waking up. Most of us are afraid to truly see because we think we won't like what we find. But the truth is, the raw experience of the present moment is never too much to bear. It's the story about it that drowns us. Anger, when observed with bare attention, is just heat in the body, tightness in the chest, a pulsing in the head. Sadness is a heaviness, a softness, a longing. Fear is a flutter, a contraction, a tremble. These sensations are not enemies, they are invitations, messengers from your inner world. When we meet them without judgment, they dissolve into awareness. What we resist persists. What we observe transforms. 10 days of this practice of seeing what's actually here, without interpretation, will change your life. You will begin to notice how often you live in reaction, how often your mind tells you what to feel before you even know what's happening. And you will begin to taste a deeper freedom. Freedom not from pain, but from confusion. Freedom not from change, but from clinging. You do not need to fix your life before you can have peace. You need to see your life as it is. This is the wisdom of bare attention. To see the anger without becoming it. To feel the sorrow without drowning in it. to witness the mind's storms without being swept away. Like the moon reflected in a still pond, clarity arises when we stop stirring the waters. Your task is not to force stillness. Your task is to stop chasing and allow the sediment to settle. The Buddha said, "When mindfulness is present, wisdom is born. When mindfulness is absent, ignorance reigns." Every time you bring your attention back to what is actually happening, this breath, this sound, this sensation, you step out of the fog and into the light. You step out of the mind's illusion and into the reality of the moment. And in this reality, even suffering is sacred, because it is seen, held, embraced, without judgment. This is what heals, not escape, not denial, but seeing with the heart open, the breath steady, the mind calm. See things as they are, and you will find that peace was never far. It was always here beneath the layers, waiting. Number 3, let go to be free. The art of non-clinging. The greatest weight we carry is not the world itself, it is our attachment to how the world should be. We suffer not because pain visits us, but because we cling to comfort. We suffer not because people leave, but because we hold on to the illusion that they should stay. We suffer not because things change, but because we wish they wouldn't. The Buddha saw this clearly. All things arise, all things pass. What we call mine is simply borrowed for a time. Even this body, this identity, this name you speak when asked who you are, none of it can be held forever, and the more tightly we cling, the more we bleed. Letting go is not rejection. It is not detachment in the cold sense. It is love without grasping. It is experiencing without needing to possess. To let go does not mean you do not care. It means you care deeply, but you understand that you do not control. We think letting go means losing something, but in truth, letting go is how we are free. Take a breath right now, deep and slow. Notice how the inhale fills you and how the exhale releases. If you try to hold the breath forever, what once gave life becomes poison. Life flows through letting go. This is the Dharma of impermanence. Everything you love will change. Everything you fear will also pass. All that begins will end. And this is not a tragedy. It is the source of your liberation. Because once you accept that you cannot hold anything forever, you stop trying to. You begin to live. Practice this. The next time you feel tightness, gripping for control, clinging to being right, demanding that life follow your script, pause. Breathe. Whisper silently to yourself, "Can I let this go?" Maybe just 1%. Maybe just a softening. This softening is enough to shift everything. Clinging makes you brittle. Letting go makes you fluid. The river does not resist the rocks. It flows around them. The tree does not hold its leaves forever. It lets them fall. And in that falling, spring is born. In these 10 days, you may notice how often the mind grasps, grasping for comfort, for certainty, for identity. It is exhausting. You are not failing. You are simply seeing the habits of a lifetime. What if you didn't need to win every argument? What if you didn't need everyone to understand you? What if you didn't need to fix every flaw, fulfill every plan, or know how it all ends? You would be free. Truly free. Letting go is not a one-time act. It is a daily surrender. 1,000 small releases. Release the need to be perfect. Release the guilt for resting. Release the past that no longer serves. Release the future that hasn't arrived. Release the stories that tell you you're not enough. You are not your tension. You are not your control. You are not the clenched jaw, the tight chest, the racing thoughts. You are the awareness that sees them. You are the sky that holds the weather. The Buddha said, just as a snake sheds its skin We must shed our past over and over again. Each moment you can begin again. You are not bound by your habits. You are not doomed by your pain. The door is open, but you must walk through it empty-handed. You cannot carry your anger, your grudges, your fears, your expectations, and still be light enough to fly. Letting go is not weakness. It is the highest strength. It says, I no longer need to control life to love it. I no longer need to know what comes next to be at peace now. I trust the flow even when I do not understand it. This is the way of the awakened heart. To live in the world, to feel deeply, to care fully, but not to cling. Can you love and still let go? Can you grieve and still trust? Can you plan and still release the outcome? This is the practice. And it begins with a breath. It begins with a question. It begins with the courage to soften the grip, to loosen the chains, to walk gently into the unknown. Let go, not to escape life, but to finally meet it. Let go, not to be numb, but to be truly alive. Let go, not because you don't care, but because you care too much to suffer. In this letting go, there is peace. In this letting go, there is power. In this letting go, there is you, vast, open, fearless. Number 4. Embrace the storm, transforming suffering with compassion. There are times when the sky grows dark, when the winds howl, and the ground beneath our feet seems to vanish. Suffering comes, uninvited, unrelenting. Illness, heartbreak, loss, failure. These are not mistakes in the system of life. They are part of it. The Buddha never promised a life without pain. He promised a way to meet pain without being destroyed by it. This is the essence of the fourth noble truth. Not to escape suffering, but to understand it so deeply, so compassionately, that it no longer controls us. To embrace the storm is not to welcome suffering with a smile. It is to stop running. It is to turn, face it, bow to it, and say, I see you. You are part of me. Teach me. This is the courage of the awakened heart. Suffering is not punishment. It is the friction that awakens us. The lotus does not bloom without mud. The heart does not open without breaking. The mind does not soften without resistance. What if the pain you feel is not a curse, but a doorway? What if the sadness, the anger, the loneliness are not enemies, but signals from your inner world calling for your attention? We try so hard to be strong, to hold it all together. But true strength lies in tenderness. When you suffer, instead of collapsing into self-pity or lashing out in blame, place your hand on your heart. Feel the ache. Say to yourself softly, this hurts, and I care. That simple gesture of acknowledging pain and responding with compassion is revolutionary. It interrupts the old cycle. Pain arises, we resist. Resistance becomes more suffering. But when pain arises and we meet it with love, something changes. We soften, we open, we heal. In Buddhist practice, this is known as karuna, compassion. It is not pity. It is not fixing. It is the heart's natural response to suffering, your own or others. The Buddha did not turn away from suffering. He walked into it. He sat with it under the Bodhi tree. He studied it until he saw that it had no lasting self, that it too, like everything else, arose and passed away. And in that seeing, he was free. You can do the same. Try this. When you feel overwhelmed by sorrow, fear, or shame, stop. Breathe. Imagine holding that feeling like a crying child. You do not yell at a crying child. You do not ignore it. You hold it close. You whisper, I am here. That is compassion. You may cry. Let the tears fall. Tears are not weakness. They are the river of your soul cleansing itself. Pain does not need to be suppressed. It needs to be felt, held in the arms of awareness. In these 10 days, Make space for your suffering, not to indulge it, not to become it, but to listen to it, to bow to it. If sadness visits, greet it like an old friend. If fear whispers, listen to its message. If anger roars, see the wound beneath its flame. No feeling is final. Every emotion is a wave, rising, cresting, falling. You are not the wave, you are the ocean. This is not just a poetic idea, it is a lived experience. The more you observe your emotions with compassion, the more you realize they do not define you. They move through you. They change. They teach. And then they go. Do not be afraid of your darkness. The Buddha said, just as a lamp shines brighter in the darkest night, the light of compassion grows strongest in suffering. Your pain is not shameful, it is sacred. Use it to connect, not to separate. Everyone suffers. Everyone is fighting a battle you cannot see. When you recognize your own pain with compassion, you begin to see others through softer eyes. The walls of judgment crumble, the need to be right, to be better, to be separate. These begin to dissolve. You begin to love not just yourself, but the world. This is the alchemy of compassion. It transforms wounds into wisdom, not by denying the pain, but by embracing it. You are not weak for hurting. You are human. And the more you allow yourself to feel fully, the more whole you become. You don't need to fix your pain to be worthy. You don't need to heal overnight. You don't need to rush through your sadness. You need only be here with breath, with kindness, with patience. You are not behind. You are blooming at your own pace. Suffering is not a detour on the path. It is the path. Walk it with an open heart, and you will find that even in the storm, there is peace. Even in the fire, there is light. Even in the breaking, there is becoming. This is the gift of compassion, not comfort, but courage. The courage to stay, to feel, to heal. Embrace the storm, not to drown in it, but to rise from it softer, wiser, free. Number 5. Live like the lotus. Walk in peace, even in the fire. In the stillness of dawn, the lotus flower begins to bloom. Not in clear streams or manicured gardens, but in the murky depths of muddy waters. It rises, unstained, untouched by the muck from which it grows. This is the symbol of the awakened life. Not to avoid the world, not to wait for perfect conditions, but to live in the middle of complexity, chaos and confusion, and remain rooted in peace. The lotus does not fight the mud. It uses it. Likewise, peace is not the absence of problems, it is the presence of wisdom, cultivated from within. The Buddha walked among suffering people, greedy kings and jealous monks. He did not isolate himself from life. He walked through it with presence, with stillness, with grace. This is your birthright too. Not some fantasy of eternal bliss, but a grounded, steady mind and an open, fearless heart. Right in the middle of your real life. The bills, the heartbreak, the news, the disappointments, these may still happen, but you begin to carry them differently. You stop leaking your peace to every trigger. You stop giving your power to every emotion. You become like the lotus, still unshaken, deeply alive. How? By remembering who you are. You are not your circumstances. You are not your opinions. You are not the mask you wear to be liked. Beneath all of it, there is a quiet, luminous awareness, unchanging, undivided, untouched. The more you touch this awareness, the more life's chaos becomes background noise. Not because you're numb, but because you've anchored into something deeper. Try this. Each morning before the world rises, sit for 5 minutes. Feel your breath. Place your hand on your heart. Say silently, "May I walk in peace today. May I speak from stillness. May I listen with love." Then rise, not with urgency, but with presence. As you move through your day, Keep one foot in awareness. When someone criticizes you, feel your breath. When stress rises, feel your feet on the ground. When confusion appears, feel your body's center. You are not reacting. You are responding with clarity, with calm. To walk in peace does not mean you never stumble. It means you rise with grace. You learn. You adjust. You return, always returning. That is the practice. In Buddhism, this is called samatha, tranquility. But it is not passive. It is the tranquility of a warrior who has laid down their sword, not in defeat, but in wisdom. You no longer need to prove yourself. You no longer need to outrun your past. You no longer need to predict every outcome. You trust life not because it always gives what you want, but because you've seen you can meet anything it brings. This is unshakable peace. It grows slowly, quietly. But with time, it becomes the foundation of your life. Even when life burns, you do not burn with it. Even when people hate, you do not hate with them. Even when the world races, you do not forget how to be still. Because you've remembered the truth, nothing outside you can touch the essence within you. In just 10 days of real practice, you will taste this shift. You will feel the mind's reactions slow down. You will hear your breath more clearly. You will notice the space between stimulus and response. And in that space, freedom. You begin to ask, is this worth my peace? Most things are not. You begin to see what others do is not who I am. You begin to live, I cannot control the world, but I can master how I meet it. This is not indifference. This is deep engagement without entanglement. This is love without losing yourself. This is presence without performance. When you live like the lotus, you can smile in difficulty, listen in anger, and breathe through resistance. You are not suppressing emotion. You are grounding it in awareness. You are not faking calm. You are building it breath by breath. You are not escaping the fire. You are learning to carry it without being consumed. The lotus rises, and so can you. Not because you've avoided the mud, but because you've transformed through it. Each moment is a choice. To tense or to soften. To resist or to allow. To react or to respond. To sleepwalk or to wake up. Choose peace not as a strategy, but as your natural state. It was always. This world will not always be kind, but you can be. This life will not always be easy, but you can walk it in dignity. This mind will not always be silent, but you can root yourself in stillness. You are not waiting for a perfect life to feel calm. You are learning to be calm in this life exactly as it is. That is the path. That is the lotus. That is you.